have been using our recycling bin to support our arts and crafts habits. Our recycling bin is full of fun things like cardboard boxes. This is a heavy duty box. We also have some that are lighter duty that are non-corrugated like tag board, which has been really easy for everybody to cut. It makes a really great base for a lot of things. We can paint on them. This was a part of a pizza box, and it's a really nice texture. It's also a really easy material for the kids to cut with scissors or using a razor knife for some of the older kids. Adult supervision definitely required, but still these ones work really well for cutting, and they're not too rigid that you are gonna have a really hard time even using a hole punch on, but they're not flimsy, and you can build structural items with the tag board, which is nice. But also the inside of the box, the brown, is much nicer to color on the surface. If you're using a water-based paint or markers, it's a lot easier to color on this and not have a mess. If it is as printed, glossy, it doesn't hold paint or glue or tape very well. But if you open it up and have this nice brown, it's like craft paper, and it holds color really well and glue sticks really well, and it's a lot more fun to work with. This isn't a really hard process, it's just a really time-consuming process. We are going through the boxes that we've accumulated so that we can use them for art. Some of them we want to keep as boxes, but most of them we just want to trim up and take off these edges so that we can have a nice surface for making other things. It really just takes a long time to process all of this. This video has been cut down from like a solid hour of recording, time lapse of just cutting and sorting, taking out all of the yucky stuff and discarding it and making it so that we can use these flat pieces for other projects and upcycling. And you might ask, what other projects would this be good for? Well, if you search, you get a lot of results. Tag board can be used for a lot of different things. We use it for painting. It holds paint really well, and it holds up better than the lightweight paper or construction paper. We also use it for 3D paper projects because it is a little heavier, and also templates. It's used for all kinds of things, really. We've been making gingerbread out of our brown cardboard, and we've been doing gingerbread houses. Now the thing about the houses is they are rectangles and squares, and our boxes are already rectangles or squares, and it seems kind of silly to pull them apart only to have to reassemble boxes. Instead of cutting this apart, since we're building our houses for our gingerbread village out of the box, we've been disassembling them and turning them inside out. And really what that is we start to find the edge of our cardboard where it's glued together, and this one's already been done, but usually just pop through and it comes apart, and the box itself should unfold. Maybe there's another bit of glue here. It pulls apart like that. And then here on this side, we're gonna pull it apart as best we can. Sometimes it gets stuck. You can use a tool. I've got a pin tool here, or maybe a screwdriver to kind of pry it apart. And it just pops out. And I'm literally opening this box up and turning it inside out. We've got these nice tabs that I'm gonna flip back underneath of itself, and all the way around here, so that this box is back on itself again. It's going to need a little bit of help because we're re-creasing some of these corners and re-gluing some of the corners. So some of these ones will have the glossy side, and the glue, depending on what kind of glue you have, you might want to use hot glue, but also support that glue while it's drying with some tape on the inside of the box. Here's our box back together. I'm going to try and keep it so that the nice pieces are on the outside, and that's what we see and that's what we paint on. The rough stuff is on the inside, the glossy stuff. And even though I have this piece here, we're going to paint over it and color over it, and it's going to be, I think, easier if we want to add something here to keep it flat, but that's your own choice. And then the same here. And this box is mostly flat. Open this back up, this box. It's gonna come apart as soon as I let go. I have some packing tape, and if I want to use the packing tape, I need to know that this is not gonna be on a spot that I want to color later. We are using water-based markers and paints, and it's just gonna bead up and it's not gonna stick to this at all. Also have some masking tape that if we're using markers, it might not make as much of a mess. If we're using the markers that are like the magic washable markers, it's just gonna peel off of this and you're gonna get marker on your hand. It's not gonna stay on the tape. But this is on the inside, and most of it is not going to be seen or painted on in any way. We can use either tape in this case. I'm just going to reassemble this as best as I can. Now with this one, I'm going to do just a little tack because I'm probably going to end up having to move this to adjust the corners to make it nice and square. So I just put a little piece on, just enough to hold it still. And, oh look, I'm already having to move it. Get it ready for more adhesive. So there, I've got it back a little bit more where I want it. You can use clamps or things if you have them to get to those corners. This will help a little bit while I manipulate the rest of the box, but not completely necessary. So with that there, I can take my other piece of tape already ready and start tacking on the inside. So my tack on the inside, I want to make sure that it's nice and flat before I really press it down. And then, hold still you, see, look. It wants to roll away on me. This corner is popping out. Another thing that works with smaller pieces, if you have a lighter gauge box, you can use pins, like hair clip pins. You can also use binder clips to get these ones are really tight. These ones are good, but they might not be big enough for some of them. This one won't quite reach in for that. Rubber bands would also be really nice at this point. I'm gonna leave this so that the box can open up. If I wanna go back in and cut windows, I can, but I'm gonna go back and glue some hot glue here, some hot glue here, and here, these places that it just doesn't wanna stay with the tape. If you don't have hot glue, again, the regular PVA glue is just fine. It's just gonna take a little bit longer to set up, and maybe not quite as strong on the gloss as a hot glue would be on the glossy surfaces of the inside of these boxes. That's the basic steps right there, turning that box inside out. Now this one is ready to go. I can start adding pieces. My kids can start adding pieces. If they want to put a second story on, or a fake storefront, or add little details, it's going to be easy to glue to this, and much easier to glue and paint and decorate than, say, a glossy surface of like a cereal box. I hope this inspires you to create something of your own, and thanks for watching. You want your box?
Yeah.
This is my box. I just turned it all inside out.
Oh,
What?
I thought you said that you were gonna give it to me.
That was so hard.
Oh, I thought you said that you were gonna give me a box.
I suppose I can.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was teasing. It was for you the whole time. I do have to go back and glue it because, look at right here.
Mom, while you're going stuff, don't forget to glue this to
I'll let you do that part. Okay. So it's taped on the inside, but needs glued on the inside. On these
Can I
seams.
glue?
We gotta get the hot glue gun.
I know.
We'll do it together.
Yes.
Yes, we'll do it together.